If you're watching this video, you probably have some type of debt. I mean, most people do, right? You got a mortgage, you got car payments, you got credit cards, you got lines of credit, department store debts, debt, and debt. And the list goes on. But you know who else has got a lot of debt? The United States government. Look at this. The deficit that the United States is running is $1.83 trillion. So basically, if the government brings in $4.92 trillion in revenue, but it spends $6.75 trillion, I mean, you don't even have to be good at math to understand there's kind of a problem. Yeah, there's a $1.83 trillion deficit, and there's really not a plan to pay that off. That would be like you running your business, but you spend more than you make. Many businesses run this way. You spend more than you make. Where does the money come from? Well, normally you would have like a line of credit. Well, that's how the government works. But let's not talk too much about the government. I just wanted to point out that the government is running a crazy deficit, and you cannot do that. So you probably guessed it. We're gonna talk about debts today. But we're not going to just talk about debts. We're going to talk about how you can get out of debt, how you can build wealth through your own debts and expenses, and how your debts can become your assets. My name is Chris Naugle. This is What Now? What's next for your debts? Now I'm going to start off by saying I used to be in debt. I mean, really in debt. So in debt that every single month I had no money left after making all the payments. I did the same thing the average person does trying to pay my debts off. I'd make extra payments. If I got a bonus or I got a little extra cash or I sold something, I'd dump it on the debts, but they never seemed to go anywhere. But I learned one thing, and it was very simple. It involved changing one thing and adding one step, and that is what I'm going to show you today. My debts today build my wealth, but they also buy all my cars. They not only buy my cars, but they help me build my businesses. They have helped me make payroll. They have helped me run ad campaigns. They have done so much. My debts are not liabilities. My debts are assets. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, this guy's crazy. And you know what? Back 10 years ago, I would have said that's impossible. That cannot happen. How can you build wealth through your own debts? It is absolutely possible. But before we get into that, I got something I got to ask you. That's right, I'm asking for something today. I need you to click that subscribe button. And not only click the subscribe button, but I need you to smash that little bell up top. Because every time you smash the bell, it's going to notify you of when we go live, when we put out new content. So get going with that. Now, let's dive into building wealth through your debts and expenses. I know this is going to help all of you because look at this article right here. Motley Fool. The average household debt in 2024, right here, record high debt levels. Matter of fact, households are carrying $17.94 trillion in debt, and that's as of Q3, right before the holidays. Not only that, delinquency rates, yep, they're going up. Credit cards and auto loan delinquencies are increasing. Manage debt efficiently? Well, first, you must understand how debt works, then you must understand how to eliminate debt, but then you must understand what we're going to talk about today, because these statistics that you're seeing here, key household debt statistics, all of this stuff, this is real, folks. The average consumer household debt, $17.94 trillion. I know I said that twice now, but look at the average household debt, $104,000 and some change? Come on. That could all be assets. That debt could be flipped and turned into an income stream. I want you to just, real quick, I want you to imagine all the monthly payments that you make every single month. Add up your car payment, your credit card payments, your line of credit payment, heck, even add up your mortgage payment, subtract the taxes and insurance out of it. What is that number? Is it $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $10,000? Now imagine every month when you wrote those checks, because you would continue to make those payments just like you do today, but imagine if every one of those payments went back into your bank account. I know, crazy, right? Almost sounds impossible, but it's not. Again, imagine every check you write, every bill pay that goes out to pay your debts. Imagine if that bill pay deposited back in a bank account that was owned by you? How much more money would you have? What would your life look like? How much different would it be? How would retirement look for you? I can answer all of those. It would be dramatically different. Except, here's the problem. What we've been taught. What we've been taught about money is completely backwards. You have been taught to go out there and trade hours for dollars. You go out there and you work for money, okay? You get the money, you put it into the bank, and then from the bank account, what do? You make payments. You pay this person, you pay that person, you pay this person, you pay that person. You pay all your debts first, and then whatever's left, if there's anything, that's what you save. And then what have you been taught to do with that little bit that's extra? Oh, open up a 401k. Yep, put that money in a 401k. And we're going to talk in a second why people put money in 401ks, but that's what you've been taught to do. Now, let me just go over some things with you. And I want you to look at what you do every day and see how similar it is to this. Think about your 401k. Number one, let me ask you just a couple questions, some mysteries about money to see how smart you are. Number one, what is money? If any of you said it's a means of exchange, you're right. Money for food, food for money. Money for car, car for money. Money for house, house for money, right? It's just a means of exchange, always has been. Secondarily, compounding interest, because that is one of the reasons people put money into 401ks and other investments, for compounding interest. But one thing must you understand about compounding interest, at least as far as you know today. Well, you must put your money somewhere and leave it sit. That money has to sit there and compound. It grows year after year, compounds and compounds, and it's a very powerful thing. But while that money's sitting there, we can't just go in and take it out because we have an opportunity over here. We can't just go in and take that money out because it stops the compounding. Next question, money, okay? Money loses value every single year because of inflation. So, is your money worth more today, or will it be worth more in the future? Any of you that said your money is worth the most today, you are absolutely correct, because inflation will hit your money and next year it will be worth less, and the year after that it'll be worth less. How many gumballs could you have bought for a quarter 10 years ago? The answer is a lot more than you can buy for a quarter today. That's because of inflation. Every time the Fed, or the Treasury I should say, prints more money, it steals value from your current dollars. Taxes. Are taxes going up or are they going down? Dumb question. They're going up. So now let's go back to the 401k and let's just talk about the main reasons people put money in a 401k. I found this cool article on bankrate.com. Number one, ease of enrollment. Super easy to put money in. Number two, pre-tax contributions. Oh yes, I get to reduce my taxable income during my earning years. Number three, only with Roth IRAs, you can use after-tax dollars, put them into the Roth, let that money sit and grow, and when you take it out, it's tax-free. Now that is only Roth IRAs. How about contribution options? You can split it, and you can do one traditional, one Roth. You could have a taxable, so you get the pre-tax deduction and tax-free income with the Roth. I mean, you could do that, but one of the most important reasons, and one of the biggest reasons why people put money into a 401k is the match. Over 98% of all employers have some type of a match, most up to 6% of pay. Meaning, if you put 6% in to your 401k, your employer will match that 6%. Now, not all employers are 6%. I've seen a lot of them at 3 or 4, more commonly. So that would mean if you put 3% in, you get a match of 3%. You would think that's free money. Now, there is a vesting schedule, which means if you leave that company early or before the vesting is complete, you don't get to take all the match dollars. But I'm just going through telling you the reasons, and there's a couple other ones: compounding growth, long-term investment advantages, no expertise required. You don't even need to be smart or know anything about investments to put money in a 401k. I think that's a mistake. Retirement income security, because Social Security is not going to be enough to retire on. And it's sort of an emergency fund, because you can take a loan from your 401k for 50% or $50,000. So 50% or $50,000 is the most you can take. Now, let's think about all those things, because that sounds compelling, right? If somebody laid all that out, you're like, yeah, duh, Chris, that's why I put money away. But hold on. Going back to those mysteries of money that we just talked about, You told me in order to use compounding interest that money must sit in the 401k and not be taken out. And that is correct. So if an opportunity came along today, you couldn't go into the money in your 401k, take it out, and take advantage of the opportunity, at least above and beyond the loan amount, right? So the compounding interest actually could hurt you in a 401k because you're not earning uninterrupted compounding interest, you're just earning compounding interest. Now let's go on to the other one that I mentioned. Dollars. Are they worth more today or in the future? You all said they're worth the most today. So we're gonna put our best dollars, our most valuable dollars, the ones we have today that we worked hard for, into a 401k to take that money out 5, 10, 15, 20 years into the future when absolutely those dollars will buy less. They will be worth less. But wait a second, there's more. We put money into the 401k today, and what do we get? A tax deduction. If it's a traditional 401k, not a Roth, you get a tax deduction. You get pre-tax contributions. That's great. You get a tax deduction at today's tax rate, but a second ago you told me taxes are going up. So in the future, 5, 10, 15, 20 years in the future, you're gonna take that money out, which those dollars are gonna be weaker dollars. Not only that, they're gonna be taxed at a higher income tax rate. And that leads me to the final thing, the match. They give you a match. As long as you make it and stay past the vesting schedule, that is essentially free dollars for you being a good employee. And that is because you did a great job for that company. But hold on, you had to give up control of that money. You had to give up control of that money, and that money was the most valuable money you had. Not only that, you're gonna take that money out at a higher tax rate in most cases than you put it in at and got that pre-tax deduction. Yet you also don't get to use that money to pay off more valuable things today, like credit card debts, car loans, things like that. No, but worse, the worst thing I hear about is if people are getting a match, let's just say of 6% dollar for dollar, which is uncommon, but 6% dollar for dollar. Then they go and they put 15% into their 401k. Hold on a second. You get a match for 6%, but you're putting in 15%. Stop. Just hear me out. This drives me absolutely crazy. I meet with hundreds of people, if not thousands of people a year. And here's what we see. Here's what we see. On one side, they've got all their income in their savings. Make no two ways about it. The people we're meeting with, they have significant amounts of savings, and most of their savings is in high yield savings accounts, checking accounts, or money market accounts. That's where most of their savings is. Forget about the 401ks right now. Let's just talk about low-hanging money, okay? Low-hanging fruit. That's where their money's at. So great job, okay? People are saving money. Now, when I take those same people that saved all that money and I come over to the other side and I look at their debts, they got high credit card debts, and most of their credit card debts are like over 20% interest, okay? And they're making minimum payments, sometimes a little extra, kind of just like I was. And then they've got big car payments, usually a couple of them in the household. They've got student loan debts. Some of them have medical debt. Some of them have lines of credit. Anyway, they got all these debts over here. And when I average up the interest rate that they're giving away on those debts, it's usually double digits. So here's how you do it. Take your credit card interest rate, 25%, plus your car loan interest rate, 3%, and then the other one's 7%. Then take your student loan debt, 2%, whatever the interest rate is. Add them all up, divide them by the number of debts, and that gives you your average interest rate that you're giving away. Because remember, every month you write that check to that debt, that money's gone from your family forever. And what interest rate were you giving away? Let's just pretend that it was 15%. How much are you making on the money sitting in your bank accounts, your high yield savings, your money markets, and heck, let's throw in the 401k. Are you making more than 15%? Well, you're definitely not making more than 15% with your savings accounts, your money markets, your CDs. No way. Your 401k, maybe, but does it always make 15%? No, one year it's 20, the next year it's negative, the next year it's 3. It's all over the place. So your average return in your 401k is less than 15% over a period of time. So do you see the problem? People are saving money in places that they give up control, places that they can't use it, and not only that, places that aren't paying them a good return on their money guaranteed, but yet they're giving all the interest to other people's banks, being the payments on their debts. Now, what if all we did is we took the amount of money in our savings, our bank accounts, wherever, 401ks, we stopped putting as much into 401ks and we only put into the 401k up to the match, 3% or 6%. We take all the rest of that money and we pay off debts in a very streamlined way. And we have to organize the debts, usually from lowest to highest, okay? There's several different ways. There's the snowball, the avalanche, but we organize them. And as we pay debts off with chunks of money, even if you had money in a savings and we just took the money from the savings and we paid the debt off, now the debt's no longer, hold on, don't stop there. Then we took the same payment you were paying to Visa, Amex, Discover, the car loans, all those that we paid off. You take the same payment you used to make to their bank and you pay it back to your bank. You put it back in your bank account. Folks, if you were giving away 15% in that example I gave you, and that was just by making all the payments on all your debts, but then you paid off all your debts, but you're scared now because now you've exhausted all the money you saved and you're like, oh, I feel broke again. It's okay. Now you're making the same payments, the same credit card payments, the same car payments, the same mortgage payments, the same line of credit payments. All those are the same except for you changed the name on the check or the bill pay to be your name. It deposits back into your account. How long do you think it would take to recoup all the money that you took out of your savings to pay off your debts? Well, remember, you were giving 15% away. Now you're taking back control of that 15% interest, and you're taking back control of all those debt payments that you used to give away. Folks, run the math. We're happy to do it for you. So actually, folks, let me actually walk you through exactly how we help this chiropractor pay off $478,000 of debt in 6.5 years without working harder, without working longer, or without taking on any additional risk. Check this out. Here is the chiropractor's debts. As you can see, he owed Discover, Lowe's, Nordstrom, Wells Fargo credit card, private loan, a BMW car loan, a West Marine boat loan, a condo, and a house. All of those loans were $478,774. Ouch! Not only that, he was giving away $5,777 a month to pay those debts. That's $69,324 a year. Now, if we just take those APRs, if you look at those APRs, we add them up, 21, 11, 3, and we divide that by the number of debts, that means that this chiropractor was giving away 10.4% in interest. But let's dive in, because if this chiropractor just took the amount of money he was saving, and that was about $25,000 a year, okay, that's how much he was saving in a 401k in bank accounts, just like we talked about earlier. And I said to him, I said, what if we just took the amount you're saving and we just paid off your debts? We didn't pay any attention to the order and we didn't recycle and recapture. How long would it take to pay all these debts? 19 years, folks, 19 years. But then we said to the chiropractor, we said, hey, what if all we did is changed one thing, and that is where your savings went first? If we did that and we added one step, the infinite banking concept, what if you could pay off all this debt in 6.5 years? Is that of interest to you? And you don't have to work harder, longer, or take on any risk. What do you think the chiropractor said? He said, of course. So let me show you how this works. So what we did is we took it to $25,000 a year that he was saving, and we put that into a specially designed and engineered whole life insurance policy. Then what we did is we took loans from that policy immediately in the first 30 days, and we paid off debts. Take a look. I'll show you how this works. So we put $25,000 in. We immediately take a loan of $14,863 out, and we pay off Discover, we pay off Lowe's, we pay off Nordstrom. Perfect. Now what does that do? That reduces the chiropractor's debts to $53.29 a month. That's how much he's going to give away to somebody else. But now he's saving $448 a month. That $448 a month is what he was paying to Lowe's and Discover. All he did is he changed the name on the check, and now that check that he used to give to those creditors goes into his banking system, back into the policy as a loan repayment. Now, let's keep going. We're going to do the same thing every single year. We're going to change one thing in year 2, and that is where the $25,000 in savings goes. So he puts it into the policy. He immediately takes a loan from the policy, and that's for $16,571. Notice how it's more than it was the first year. That's because of uninterrupted compounding interest. So he takes the $16,571, the loan from the policy, plus the $53.78. You're probably thinking, what is that $53.78? Well, remember, he was saving $448 a month that he used to give away to Discover and Lowe's. All he did is he took that $448 every month, set up an automatic transfer into a segregated bank account, which is a separate bank account. So now he had $448 going to the segregated account, $25,000, which was the amount he was saving going into the policy. These are no different than the amounts he was doing before. He was saving $25,000 before. We just changed where that went and put it into the policy. He was giving the $448 a month away to Discover and Lowe's. Now he's just putting that $448 into a segregated account at his local bank. So that means he saved $53.78. So the loan was $16. The payments that he was putting into that segregated account were $53.74. He had $21,945 that he could now pay off Nordstrom, pay off Wells Fargo, and pay off the private loan. He also paid down the BMW loan. So what did that do? Well, his monthly payments to other people's banks now drop to $38.60 because he paid those loans off using loans from his banking system. He's also now able to save $276 from Nordstrom, $271 from Wells Fargo, and $922 a month from the private loan he was paying somebody else's bank account. So that's $1,917 that he used to give away to all the debtors that we just paid off, that he is now changing where that money goes, and he's putting it into a segregated bank account at his local bank. So let's go to year 3. Again, same thing. He puts $25,000 into his policy, his banking system. He immediately in the first 30 days takes a loan, but now he takes a loan for $25,541. You notice how that's more than what he put in. It took him 3 years to get to what we call the efficiency point, but now in the 3rd year, the amount he's putting in, he's able to take a loan for more than he put in immediately in the first 30 days. So he takes the $25,541 loan from the insurance company. Then he's got $23,004 in that segregated account. Remember, he was saving $1,917 a month, money he used to just give away to somebody else that now he's recapturing and recycling. So that money goes into the segregated account. He's got $48,545 in cash that he pays off the BMW loan, the boat loan to West Marine, and he pays down his condo. So now, 3 years in, he's giving away $2,100 a month to somebody else's bank, and he's saving $3,677 in that segregated bank account. It took him 3 years to get to this point. Now let's just talk about the 3 years. We call that the marathon because it didn't happen quickly. How much money did he put in? Well, he put in $25,000 for 3 years. That's $75,000. How much did he take out? $14,000, $16,000, and $25,000 each year. He took loans from the policy. That's $55,000. So how much money's left in his policy? Well, if he put in 75, took out 55, you would all think that there's, what, 20 grand left? Wrong. There's $75,000 still earning interest and dividends uninterrupted. That's how much he's got. Because remember, when he's taking loans from the policy, he's not using his money. His money, his cash value, is just acting as collateral for the loans the insurance company is giving him. So therefore, he is earning uninterrupted compounding interest. Now, the loans he takes from the insurance company, they do charge interest on those loans. But at this point, and this point forward, he's earning more in the policy. This is not always going to be the case for every policy, but this is this example. He's earning more than what he's actually paying the insurance company. Let's keep going. The 4th year. So the 4th year, same thing, puts $25,000 in the policy, takes out $26,304 immediately in the first 30 days. Then he has all the money he was giving to other people's banks, the other debt payments he made. He was recapturing those every single year at the tune of $36.77 a month. So now he's saved $44,124 in that segregated bank account. So if we do the loan from the policy plus the amount he was saving in the segregated account, he's got $70,439. Now, he takes that $70,439, applies that to the condo mortgage. Now, when he makes a payment to the condo mortgage, his monthly payment doesn't change. It sucks paying off mortgages because there's no immediate gratification. So in the fourth year, it's kind of a pass. He's still giving away $2,100 a month to the condo mortgage and his home mortgage. He's still saving $36.77, all the monthly payments he used to give away that he's saving in the segregated account. So we move on to the fifth year. The fifth year, he deposits $25,000 into the policy. He takes out $27,090 immediately in the first 30 days as a loan. Then he saved $36.77 in that segregated account. So again, that's $44,124. So if we add the loan from the policy plus the segregated account balance, that's $71,225. We use that to pay off the condo and pay down the mortgage. So now in the fifth year, this chiropractor is giving away $1,221, which is just his primary house mortgage. That's how much he's giving away to other people's banks. He is saving $4,556 a month in his segregated bank account. So now let's go to the sixth and final year. So the sixth and final year, he goes to put the $25,000 in his policy, but he can't. There are IRS rules called the MEC 7 pay, okay? So now this chiropractor can only put $10,000 into his policy that he started back 6 years ago. Now, this is not always going to be the case for every policy we do. Most of the policies, you'll be able to maintain the premium funding that you set up for 10 years. But when we did this one back then, it was 6 years. So this chiropractor could only put $10,000 in, not $25,000. So he puts 10 in and he takes $13,092 out. What is his cash on cash return? Well, he puts 10 in. That 10 would have to earn 30+% in order to give him $13,092. He got so excited about that, he said, wait a second, I can't believe how good this is working. I want to be able to still put in that $25,000, but I'll still keep putting the $10,000 in this policy. So what we did is we opened up a second policy for this chiropractor, a second specially designed and engineered whole life policy. And immediately when that policy was issued and funded, he was able to take $14,863 from that. So $13,092 from the first policy loan, $14,863 from the second policy loan, plus he was saving the $45.56, which is money he used to give away, and now he's saving that money in his own segregated account. If we add those two up, he's got total cash to use of $82,633. He only owes $76,450 on his mortgage, so we pay the mortgage off. And now what he does, he's got $5,777 a month, free and clear, that he is saving in that segregated account. What we told the chiropractor to do is now, let's not let the banks use our money. Let's take that $5,777 that you now don't have to work harder, longer, or take on any risk to get. It's just money you gave away. And now let's apply that to the loan balance with the insurance policy that you took out, your banking system. Let's start paying your banking system back. And that's what he did. He started applying $5,777 to pay off the loan to the insurance company. But here's the cool part. Every time he pays $5,777 to his policy, to his banking system, that's $5,777 that he gets to use if he needs that money, because he's not giving it away to somebody else. He is now his own banker. He has now created his own banking system. Folks, you can mimic this. You can do the exact same thing by changing where your savings goes and by adding one step, just like this chiropractor. Heck, go up in the description, click the video up. If you watch that video, it will show you exactly what I just told you. He's paying all that money, $5,700 plus, back to his bank. And he's keeping all the money. Now he's in control of the money. Now all those debts, okay, remember he paid the debts off, all those debts now became his assets. because the payments are no longer leaving, they're now coming to him. They're putting that money back in the bank account, which is exactly what you need to do. Stop listening to what other people are telling you. Stop doing what the masses are telling you to do. Start doing what the wealthiest families have done, and that is they have become their own bankers. They have literally taken banking and brought it back into their family, and they created family banking systems. Folks, that video in the bio shows you exactly how to do this, but stop thinking that you have to put all this money into your 401k, all this money into savings, and then you carry all these debts like the United States government. You are not the government. You cannot print money. You do not have a treasury. So therefore, your best hope is to change one thing, and that is where your money goes first, and add one step, and that is that circle I just showed you, and that is called the infinite banking concepts. Except I didn't tell you how to do that using a specially designed and engineered whole life. I showed you everything up to this point, doing it just with a regular bank account. Now, if we replace the bank account where all those payments are going back with a specially designed and engineered whole life, here's what you get. Every penny you ever put into that specially designed and engineered whole life, it has to be built from a mutually owned life insurance company that pays dividends. Just watch the video in the bio, book a call with our team, and we'll show you how to do this and design it the proper way. Because that design requires the agent that is writing the contract, that would be us, to take a reduction in their commission of 60 to 90%, so that you have 60 to 90% more cash value in the policy. But again, I'm getting down a rabbit hole. Why would you replace the bank account from a traditional bank with a specially designed whole life? I think I started to say it, but let me say it one more time, crystal clear. Because every dollar that you put into the policy will earn uninterrupted compounding interest, which means your money will work for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, earning guaranteed interest plus dividends, while you take that money out of that whole life as a loan and use it to pay off debts, use it to invest in real estate, use it to invest in stocks, or whatever floats your fancy, whatever you know, like, and understand. And then whatever money that earns you, or whatever money you were giving away, you take that and you put it back into the specially designed and engineered whole life that had never stopped earning compounding interest for you, even when you took the money out. Folks, I literally just showed you how to become your own banker. I showed you how to take back control of your money. I showed you how to take back all the interest you're giving away. And I showed you one simple thing, how to stop listening to the false information you've been getting about money. Because you've been taught to save and then borrow. Save and borrow. But unfortunately for too many families, the borrowing, the interest that they're paying on that borrowed money has exceeded the amount they're saving. And that should not be the way it is. So in conclusion of what I just showed you, you watched how we helped that chiropractor pay it off. You know exactly how it works. I showed you how to save money and simultaneously pay your debts off and build wealth while doing the exact same thing you're doing today. It all depends on how you do what you do. And that's what we got to change. We got to implement a process. The process I just showed you is called the infinite banking concept, and it is so simple. All you need to do is change one thing, and that is where your money goes first, where your savings goes first, and add one step, and that is the circle. That is the infinite banking concept. Folks, thank you so much for joining me today. Check the video out in the bio, watch that video, and book a call with one of our mentors. With that being said, folks, my name's Chris Naugle, and thanks for joining me for another What Now? What's Next for Your Debts. See you on the next episode. Hey, if you like this video, check that video out right there. That one absolutely will walk you through exactly what the infinite banking concept is. See you next time.